Okay, so this was the final round of the Hong Kong Chess Championship 2025, and I had the white pieces in the last game. To be honest, I was a bit nervous before the game because actually in this tournament I didn't play too well. I think it was fine, but I lost. I was losing rating, like losing 7 or something, and I wanted to like at least have a positive rating in the tournament overall. But then my opponent was actually a very strong. It's actually a very strong opponent. I think, and yeah. So I prepared something for him, like not really particularly for him, just my usual preparation, and I just revised it and yeah. So let's see. Oh, and also ran the review on chess.com, so there's like a line here, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. Right, so e4, c5. I know he plays a Sicilian. He is also an Alpine player, so sort of a debate here, but that f3 is my usual system, which is really a nice sideline, I feel. Knight f6, knight a3, knight c6. Here it's still prep actually. Even though chess.com doesn't see it. Oh, here e4. The idea is e6 castles and cd4 knight b5. This is the idea to get the knight out with tempo, attacking here, and then also interestingly, if dc3, bishop f4, and here it would be really devastating. Actually, I think the reality is that black has to give up some material, so he didn't play it. I'm pretty sure he's out of book already here. He played a6, which is the only move. Takes, takes, takes. Here it's still prep until knight d4. Knight d4 is still the prep. And then, I don't know why it says inaccuracy, but whatever. Let's ignore it. Bishop e7. Here, I think bishop e7 is not the best, because in the game I was expecting something like queen c7. I might play something like queen e2. And then I think, black is still fine. Actually, I think bishop e7 is not really tackling anything. I was also thinking he might play bishop c5. And here, there may be some problems. Probably black equalizes comfortably. But he played bishop e7. You're already out of book, he was. Played queen f3. The idea is, I think he wants to play b5 and then bishop e7. And I thought queen f3 is a nice idea. Just do it. Just put on this diagonal and, bishop f4, d1. It's just extremely natural. I think I had a game with a similar idea and it was pretty comfortable. So castles, bishop f4, queen a5. He spent a lot of time here, and um, I thought maybe he would play something like yeah. I was calculating this move knight d7 because you have to calculate something like bishop e6, f e6, and then knight e6. But then there's knight e5, and then I realized that you can't really hold. Like this is not the idea, because like you play. I was calculating something like, I don't know. Let's say this, and then bishop e6. Yeah. Oh, and now I calculate queen b7, and then you realize that you know there's not much here. And so I was still thinking, how would I meet knight d7? The idea of maybe e5. Like let's say rook f1 and then bishop f6. Like how would I play here? I actually didn't know. But well, probably well, yeah, this would be something to calculate, but surely wouldn't be too bad. And then here he played Queen A5, which he spent like 10 or more minutes. And I think here he was already down like below an hour. I was still like 1 hour 10 minutes maybe. On the time control 75 plus 30. So Queen A5, I didn't really understand the idea, but I think Rook F1 is forced because E5 is a threat. So Rook F1, I think this. I was very happy with my position here. Rook E5 is coming. I was thinking because I didn't see his idea of Queen H5. I didn't really see the idea. But okay, he played Queen H5, and here okay, I was slightly surprised, and I saw this like I had a bit of a moment here because Queen G3 was the move I played, also the first move I considered. I thought, okay, Rook E5 is coming, so unless he wants to go back to A5, so let's say Queen G6, so Queen F3, Queen H5. So am I going to repeat here? Like, will I take the draw? So I was thinking for a while, like because it's the last round, and just before the round, I figured out one thing, and that is perhaps I might be a contend like I might be able to contend for the medal because I just realized that there were five medals. So perhaps I was a contender actually, and I didn't verify afterwards, but yeah, we'll see. But I wasn't sure if a draw was enough for. Actually, I was pretty sure it wasn't, but also mainly I was thinking like, would I be able to gain enough rating if I make a draw against him? He was like around 100 points above me. So I thought maybe it wasn't enough. But okay, I thought, okay, I just play Queen G3 first time, and let's see what he plays. And actually, he didn't play Queen G6. He played Queen G4, which I totally missed for some reason. And here, okay, I really started thinking. I started to think about Queen G4, but I really, I wasn't. I thought, okay, this endgame is not really, you know, nothing special. It's pretty equal, I think. And I thought maybe I could do better. And then you start thinking about all the queen moves, but only one makes sense, and that is Queen E3. So I think Queen E3 is, you know, played quite instantly. I think the main thing you need to calculate is knight d5, and then you will have to see a bishop d5. Here you first play h3. So if you take on e7, queen f4, yeah, this is white is better because of the isolated d pawn, which is extremely weak. Black is undeveloped, tied down to the b7 pawn, etc. But here it is very important. I calculated in the game h3 first. Kick the queen away from the bishop. And let's say queen h4, we can play g3, defend the bishop, and wherever the queen goes, like takes, we take the free piece, and this is just a clean piece. So this is a very important detail. Before playing queen e3, you have to calculate. And then of course you need to calculate knight h5. Oh, so actually, no. So actually I didn't. Like I took some time before queen e3. Yeah, now I remember. So knight h5 you have to calculate. So what do? You don't really have h3 because queen f4. So bishop e5. This is what happened in the game as well. So this is what I calculated. So if you play so bishop c7 is possible, but um of course if e5 works, you put it on e5, right? 3e5. Here calculate several things. Um well, firstly, you have to know that your idea is bishop e2. So of course bishop g5 is the idea here, which is pretty forced. You might also want to calculate something like queen g6. But here, let's say just bishop d3, and you have to see that okay, yeah, indeed it's pretty good for me. But mainly the thing is bishop g5. And actually, okay, so I'm talking about before I played queen e3. I was calculating this bishop g5 move, and I was actually going to play queen e2. And I thought queen e2, then I'll play queen e2, bishop e2, knight f6. Actually, I was calculating knight f6, and then I was calculating f4, bishop h6, and the bishop is, you know, trapped. Really trapped. Like, I cannot trap it, but it's trapped. So this is what I calculated. But then, when I reached this position, I realized that after queen e2 takes, there's knight f4. And I really did not enjoy this position. Like, not okay. I'm surely not worse, but how would I play? I didn't really know. So therefore, here I took time, and I found this bishop e2 move, which turns out to be best. And it actually makes a lot of sense when you see it. So bishop e2. So the idea is if bishop takes e3, bishop g4, here you must take on d4. And then here, let's say this position, it's just extremely pleasant with the bishop here and also probably win the open file. And more important, oh, I also saw e5. You know, you have to calculate such things. That bishop takes c8 takes, you know, take on d4. Should be 7. And here you're just crushing because mainly because you have the tempo. So let's say rook b8. Now you can play bishop here. Oh, oh, okay, or you can take. But okay, let's say rook a7. You have bishop f3. This is the idea. Yeah, and then you can take back the pawn and it's fine. Yeah, so this is very important. So here, and apart from e5, you play, yeah, you can play something else like knight f6 or knight f4, but it will, like, compared to the previous version, this is much more pleasant because I have the bishop here, he doesn't, and yeah, he might just struggle to develop. Like if I put the bishop on f3, eyeing this diagonal, he has to play rook b8, and then, you know, if rook b8, I might play bishop e5 to harass him. It will be a very slow death. Not sure if I can win against my opponent, but very torturous for black. So he did not play this. Here, after playing bishop e2, he took like 5 minutes, and then I went to the, no, not 5, like maybe 7 or 8 minutes, and then I went to the bathroom because I was actually planning to wait to see if he plays bishop e3 or queen h4 before I go to the bathroom, but then he was thinking for a long while, so I thought, okay, I'll go to the bathroom first. And then when I was in the bathroom, like I was thinking about position, and okay, I thought actually he might play queen h4 because it seems really weird, but there's no good way to exploit it. And so, okay, I really think he would play queen h4, and once I came back, he played queen h4, and then he went to the bathroom. So, and then I played queen f3, almost immediately because it's the only move. If you play something like queen d3, knight f4, sorry, queen d3, knight f4, and then there's no, yeah, nothing else to play actually. Queen f3, putting the pressure, knight f4. So, of course, before I before he played queen h4, I had much time because he was spending a lot. I calculated queen f3, knight f4, which also happened in the game. And here, I played bishop f1 because, okay, I just thought I don't need to give anything away. I just play bishop f1, and then g2 is coming, and I thought, yeah, it's pretty pleasant position. Also, I calculated the knight g6, bishop g3, and then here I stopped calculating here, and this entire sequence happened in the game. And here is where I really spent time because I really didn't know what to do here. I know that my position is probably slightly superior, but there's no clear way to to improve the position. I considered bishop d3, knight b3, rook a d1, of course, trying to do some h4, but it doesn't work. Also, bishop c7 really spent me a lot of time calculating. So, very unclear position for me. Um, rook a d1 is of course, the natural move, and also turns out to be the best move, actually, unless you play something like a4. But rook a d1 is humanly best, I think. And here, in the game I was calculating something like knight f4 or something like bishop f6. So, but actually, knight f4 loses on the spot to h4. The deflection. Yeah. So it's pretty odd. Like, let's say bishop f6, knight b3, but you need to know your plans here. Probably knight c5 coming, or maybe knight a5 actually. But you have to know what you're doing and just conquer the d file. But to me, this wasn't so clear. I chose I wanted harmony between my pieces. I wanted to put the knight on f3 actually, and then maybe knight e5 someday. So I played queen e2, bishop f4. I missed bishop f4. I actually was counting on knight f4. Like if knight f4, I probably play queen c2, and then I will play knight f3, and then the knight on f4 is not really doing much actually. But he played bishop f4, and okay, it's not really a big problem for me. But I figured that it's best to play queen f3 back, which is usually psychologically difficult. You play queen f3 and then queen e2, queen f3. But okay, I figured out that it's the best move. That I thought it was the best move, and because you trade, I don't really want to mess up my pawn structure, and also yeah, queen f3 is just fine because you just force a decision here. Bishop g3, queen g3, queen f4. Here's several, of course, this critical position. I had like 20 minutes because I spent a lot of time here in this critical position. So here, the only thing I calculated was rook e3, and I realized that after queen g3, is it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like queen g3, rook g3, e5 maybe, and like there's no black just liquidates completely, because yeah, like if let's say I play hg, e5, knight f3 maybe, and here you have some play against the e5 pawn. Maybe you force f6, and then bishop c4. This is what I calculated, and then maybe this is worth trying, but you won't play hg. Like if you need to achieve that position at the expense of double pawns, then not really good after all. So queen f4, knight f4. This is what I chose. Rook a d1. Rook a d1. I didn't spend much time because I just played it by feeling. I was also pressing a bit on his clock. He had a few minutes, and I know that rook a d1 cannot be a bad move, right? Bishop d7, knight f3. So my plan, or at least what I wanted, was to take this bishop. But I thought, okay, the knight on d4 is kind of in the way of the rook, so my plan was to play knight f3, and I have bishop c6, knight e5, and okay, I can surely win the bishop here, and I thought, okay, if I win the, not the bishop here, sorry, the bishop, and if I win the bishop, I would be happy. Not sure if it's winning, but it will be pleasant. But he didn't play. He played rook f d8, 95 still, and he had to play bishop e8. I guess his evaluation was similar to mine. That if he traded the bishop, he would be worse. And here, okay, here g3. G3 is actually quite simple idea. You want to put the bishop here on this diagonal. So g3 is the easiest way to do it, right? So just g3, knight d5, bishop g2. Here, spent some time, the few minutes, I guess. First playing c4, maybe something to consider. Knight b4, and then like a3, but then there's knight c2. And then, you allow too much counterplay. And the point is after rook d8, rook c1, there's knight d4. And this is the problem. Like you cannot play bishop g2 because of knight e2. So, yeah, this would be quite a mistake actually. So I thought, okay, no rush, just first bishop g2. And then he played f6. Actually, I was still thinking what might he play. I wasn't sure. King f8 probably. But I didn't, like, I considered king f8 and also like rook b8, but I didn't really know. Like, I hadn't had time to evaluate them all. He played f6 pretty much immediately. Knight d3. Here, knight d3 is really important. So, first, maybe you want to play knight c4. But then you realize, what is the knight on c4 doing? It's not really helping anything. You're not attacking this guy. You're not really playing knight a5, to be honest. And you're blocking the c pawn. And if you play knight here, then maybe h5 actually. I was thinking h5 actually. Oh, bishop d5. Okay, interesting. I didn't see bishop d5. Knight f3 just makes no sense. You block the bishop. So knight d3 is actually very interesting because you go knight c5. Yeah, so this is what is important. Bishop f7. Okay, here the e6 pawn is hanging. You have to do something about it. And the engine recommends bishop h5. But it is very unclear how this helps because, let's say here, rook d2, maybe rook d2. Yeah, because now you get into an eternal pin. So maybe rook c1. But then, like, not clear how this helps. Like, the engine gives rook c8, but what if I just take? Oh, knight c3. Okay, so you have to solve this tactically, but how does it work? I don't. Okay, yeah. So it's very difficult, I think. He played bishop f7 and knight c5. He actually had, I think, a few minutes. Actually, like 7 minutes here. But he actually didn't play a move. Like he was thinking for so hard that the clock just went down, and yeah, and then he just lost on time here on move 32. He when he realized that like when he realized that the clock was going very low, he played b6 very quickly, but it's not fast enough. Yeah. But okay, I think indeed there was nothing much to play here. Actually, I was very stupid here. I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time calculating e5 and then knight b7, and I spent so much time calculating rook b8 because I was thinking knight c5, rook b2 maybe or something. You know, how was I going to hold this position? But I was so stupid. Just 98, and I didn't see this move until like a minute before he lost some time, and I was like, oh, okay, then I'm really comfortable with my position now. So he didn't play e5. He cannot play like I don't know. Maybe he played b5 actually, but then 96 e6 is just crushing. So yeah, so this was actually just lost, but yeah, he lost some time, which is good to a certain extent because like you don't need to convert it with low time on the clock. But yeah, anyway, it was fun. And after this game, I was actually winning 5 rating points, and so I would be above 1700 in the next like when they put the ratings out next month. So yeah, it's pretty nice, I think. Also a pretty nice game actually. I really enjoyed this game. Uh yeah. I I'm not sure if I will play any more tournaments. No, I mean like in the near future, like no, not near future, I mean like in the following 2 months. But I think it's fine. Like I'll try to find some other classical events to play, but there isn't much. So for now this is it, the championship, and yeah, perhaps I'll play some blitz games or rapid games online and try to see if they're any good to analyze. So yeah.